Hello, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. It's Only Oracle here today with a pick a card reading. So today we are looking at how seductive are you, or what ways are you seductive. I'll be honest, I did this reading and it got weird. So I want to warn you now that while that is the question, we may just dive into things that relate to that but don't relate to that. Just be prepared. So I have 5 lovely piles here today, 5 lovely cards for the Angel's Blessings deck. We have pile 1, Beauty, pile 2, Thought, pile 3, Protection, pile 4, Vibration, and pile 5, Prayer. Take a second to see which pile calls to you, and then when you're ready, you can jump to the timestamp in the description box, and I will see you at your reading. Bye. Okay, hello pile 1. If you picked this card right here, let's see here. 𝐲𝐲𝐿. That's what the book says. Then this is going to be a reading. So with this card, you picked Beauty. And for how seductive you are, you really don't get much better card than Beauty. I have the book here just for this first card because I am not as well versed with this deck. And the things that are sticking out to me is your inner beauty mixed with clothing, hair, makeup, and nails. So overall, I think you are very seductive. Pile number 1. I think your seductivity is definitely physical. People can see it, but also that it's from within that goes out. But I really do feel like it is your interactions, the way you carry yourself, the way you handle yourself, that really is attractive and seductive to other people. It also feels like your subject matters of interest, so where your interests lie, pile number 1, also make you very seductive and attractive. But I would say that people find you very physically attractive. So you are definitely seductive, pile number 1. And I would say that this goes through, it honestly feels like the beauty resounds from in to out. So it is the things you say, it is the things you do, it's the way you choose to dress, it's the people you choose to hang around, everything. It's like you are the epitome of beauty. I get Aphrodite energy here very strongly. Okay, we have the Fool in reverse here. And let's get an archetype card. Yeah, I really get this idea of your inner beauty really shines out, pile number 1. And Thief. Yeah, okay. So pile number 1, how seductive are you? We have the Thief here, which talks about sheds light on the potential wealth within you that can never be stolen. I get this idea that you are someone who is coy. I don't get the idea of wear your heart on your sleeve. I guess I would say you have depth to you, pile number 1. And I have a feeling with the Thief here, I feel like you steal people's hearts. Like, I don't know. I get the sense that you are very good looking, pile number 1. And I'm not just saying this. This pile you picked, specifically the Beauty card, talks about good looks. Whether you're male or female, you're handsome, you're attractive, you're hot, you're sexy. And it does feel like, pile 1, you encompass a variety of what is considered attractive. And by that, I mean, you could be considered hot, some of you could be considered cute, some of you could be considered sexy, but I also feel like each of you could be considered all of those traits depending on who the viewer, right? Depending on who's around you and depending on someone's perception. I feel like it's people's perception of you that really makes you seductive. But yeah, I get the feeling that you definitely steal hearts. As a guy or a girl, I get the sense of you do engage in self-care. You do try and take care of yourself, whether that is getting your eyebrows done. I'm being drawn to the eyebrows, or maybe you're into lip fillers, or you get false lashes, or for my guys, you know, you go to the gym, you like to wear fashionable clothes. It does feel like you have a good sense of fashion as well, and this is very seductive to people. But I just feel like there's more to you than meets the eye as well. So you're not just beautiful, you're fascinating. That's right here. She's not, you know, or he's not just beautiful, they're also fascinating. And I think it's because you have a lot hidden. It's like, even if you make a lot of money, it feels like you show that you make money based on how you dress, but you don't, it's not something you brag about, or it doesn't feel like you really flex as much. You do the care, but you don't flex. It's very interesting. But yeah, you're very attractive, and then your heart is even more attractive when people get down to that. Okay, we have the Hanged Man and the Page of Swords. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. You're also very intelligent. Sheds light on the potential wealth within you that can never be stolen. I feel like you're very seductive when you speak or what you study with this Page of Swords here. So if you are in school or you have an area of interest, I feel that you have a good amount of knowledge about that area of interest, even though there's like this youthful idea here. So what I'm really getting with this Page of Swords is your area of study, or the things you choose to talk about, or the things you choose to really, I feel like, just research, it feels, or engage in, are, I hear sexy to other people. It's very sexy. Your mind is very sexy, and that makes you a very seductive person. You're very entrancing, pile number one. You're the type of person that someone sees and they're interested in, right? They're intrigued. They're like, oh, that person's beautiful, or that person's hot, or that person's cute. And then they talk to you and it's like, oh, it's like the heart here that's hidden underneath, because if he closes his jacket, you can't see the heart. It's like, oh my gosh, okay, this person isn't just cute, sexy, handsome. It's like they got depth to them. They're smart, or they're funny, or they're witty, or they have cool interests, you know, or they have cool tricks and skills that you can do. It feels like you're a person who has many talents and many beauty, and this makes you very seductive to other people. I also feel like you may have a seductive voice, / also people would like want to engage in phone sex with you, hearing your voice through the phone, having you tell them to do things. It also feels like people like demands from you, and that's very interesting. Yeah, people like, guy or girl, they like it when it's almost like some people like it when you tell them what to do. I get that kind of like daddy, mommy kink, or, you know, you're the boss of me kink. They like when you are, I get the sense of the Page of Swords, you're just demanding, like, I want this, this, and this. Even if you lay down the law, you lay things down, I think people also find that very seductive, very attractive. It also feels like you're a person looking at this who kind of knows what they want, and that's very attractive to people. Even with the Hanged Man here, despite suitors or people around you, you may not be someone who is that interested in just anyone who comes your way. And I'm also getting with the angels here, it's like you don't want boys, or you don't want girls. You know, you're someone who is mature. I think that's something else I get here strongly, even with the Fool in reverse. You're someone who is very mature and enlightened, and so you look for someone who is on your level, and people have no choice but, when they engage with you, to either rise to your level or fall. You know, they're not going to be trapped by you. I'm also getting, my gosh, so many messages here for you, pile number one. I'm also getting with the Page of Sword and the Hanged Man that you really free people from the ideas that they have. I get the idea of taking this sword and chopping this guy down from the tree who has been looking at life wrong. So it's almost like people would be seduced by you because of literally everything you are. And I don't say that lightly. It's you are the package. And while we can pick out traits here for sure, it does just seem like you. I hear people saying it's you. It's the way you carry yourself. I hear that Beyonce song, Love on Top, where she says, you know, baby, it's you. You're the only one I want. You're the only one I need. You put my love on top. Like, it's just you. You are the reason that people, you yourself, how you operate, how you move through the world, the things you choose to do, the things you don't choose to do, make you seductive. You're very intelligent. Intelligence is hot. And it's like you're hot and smart. What else are people going to do? All right. We have the Four of Swords in reverse, the Two of Swords upright, the Page of Wands upright, and the Six of Cups. All right, so we're getting into some traits here that people find very seductive and attractive. For one, I feel like a lot of you, no hate here, although you can be demanding about certain things, and it may be, with the Page of Swords here, I feel like you can also be demanding in your physical, or I feel like in your social or your professional life. Maybe you're someone who really, it gets this idea of, I like to chill out though too. Like, yes, I can take charge. Yes, I tell people what's up and I do what needs to be done. But given some off time, I get the idea of, given off time, I choose to rest. I choose to, just stay on my own. I don't really interact with people. with the Four of Swords in reverse, I just stay to myself. And that's very attractive. You have so many traits of you, but we're going to get into as many as I see here. But there are a lot. You are you're just a very full person, I'd say. It's not that I don't get the idea of someone trying to be complex or trying to be different or out there. You're just a full person, you know what I mean? You're fully formed. It seems like you, even if you don't feel this way, you should, because it feels like you're enlightened and you have your crap together. It feels like someone who, I get the idea of I have my priorities in alignment. I know what I want and what I don't want. And so that forces people to interact with you to either rise to the level again or get out the way. So I do get that you are someone who likes your off time. This is very seductive to people. And it feels like also with all these roses here, you reject a lot of people, even if you don't know it. I also get this idea of I don't know that I'm rejecting people. It's just they don't even present themselves to me because they know they're not on my level. That's kind of the idea I get here. But with these roses, it's like people would love, I get the idea of roses, red roses specifically, which are here and here, represent romantic, deep, true love. But they're also something you see a lot on stage when a performer finishes their act. You know, people would throw roses on the stage to say like, wow, that was amazing, great job. And that's kind of how I feel people feel about your work or what you're going to do. They admire it. So there's something about admiring your mind, admiring the way you use your mind to do things that is seductive to people, but also that you don't put that much. Even here, you see she's not paying attention to the roses. Here, this person is not paying attention to the roses. You don't really pay attention to the admiration, I feel. Yeah, it's like, no, I'm not really worried about that. Like, that's nice and all, but I'm not looking at that. And that is seductive. The way you don't care about people's desire of you is very seductive. I feel like you're focused on the goals, you're focused on what you want to achieve or accomplish, or you're focused on, expanding your mind, expanding yourself spiritually, of doing the right thing, of being in the right place at the right time. It's like your mind isn't on, despite you clicking on this video, I don't feel like your mind is generally, especially I hear this idea of when you're working, your mind is not focused on being seductive. And that is that's hot in its own sense, because some people's job is to be sexy, you know what I mean? Some people's job, for instance, like models, yes, they pose and do a lot of things, but a lot of people would perceive that as your job is to be hot. But it's like if a model's working and she's thinking about posing or she's thinking about contracts, she's actually not maybe in that moment thinking about being hot per se. And that's kind of the idea I get here. Like, even if your job involves you being beautiful or having to be beautiful, you're not thinking about being beautiful. You're thinking about things you have to get done, especially when you're working. Now, on your off time, that's where you can probably get a little more into it. But when you're working, you are thinking about working, you're thinking about what you're doing, you're thinking about what you need to get done, or different things or ideas, and you're not really focused on beauty. But while you work, I feel like while you work or while you study or you learn or you educate yourself, you're very attractive, you're very seductive. I think you'll find, Pile 1, that you get the most amount of Sooners during school. And you might not notice this, but during school, or during your work. So it's very career, work, school, learning, education. It's mind oriented. Or in politics, right? Like going to a political event or engaging yourself. And your mind is where you find you actually are the most seductive to other people. That's where the area I feel that people are most seduced by you. Follow of that, we have the Two of Swords. There is this very strong idea here as well of balance. You have a light and a dark side, and you're not afraid of either, Pile 1. I feel that definitely the Page of Swords and Four of Swords as well. As I talked about before, you are someone who can be demanding, who says, this is what I will and will not allow. This is what I want and don't want. This is what I want. And so you're not afraid to take charge, but you're also not afraid to hang back and kind of relax. It feels like you have this very good balance between the light, the dark, the masculine, the feminine, right? And this very much entrances other people because you have a duality to you, Pile number 1, that is kind of like you versus you, because I do feel kind of a struggle you might have within yourself of when to use the dark, when to use the light, when to be more masculine, when to be more feminine. But actually, people really appreciate your ability to switch things up. I also feel, I was just looking at the feet heel here, and some of you as guys, maybe you like to wear makeup as a guy, or you like to do your nails sometimes. It's like you don't really, I also get this idea of not subscribing by gender norms. I feel like I used the wrong word there. It's not subscribe, whatever. You don't necessarily have to do the gender norms, or you don't really, it feels like in some ways you don't follow gender norms. And this doesn't even feel physically that you may dress more androgynous or masculine or feminine one day, but it also feels like in action. The idea I was getting is maybe you like to hold doors open as a woman, or maybe you are kind of protective of other women, even though you're a woman, or as a guy, maybe you're softer and you really like to give advice and talk about your feelings with other guys. It's like you don't box yourself in based on gender either. So there is just this well, and I mean a well, like this goes down, a well of depth to you, pile number one. And that is the most attractive. It really is you. So with the Six of Cups here, I feel you are very loving. And, you know, throughout all of this, pile number one, I get this idea of people like to watch you. And I also get the idea that you may not be aware of it. Once again, with this Page of Wands, people are cheering and watching this show happen. And this person is just focused on the plans, focused on what they're wanting to do. They're moving, they're doing things. It does feel like you're a person who moves a lot. And if you don't move a lot, it also feels like you think a lot. It feels like you plan a lot with the Page of Wands and the Hangman. You plan a lot to get things done. And so you're really just focused on, it feels like this focus on doing. You do focus on doing. Even if you don't do, it's like planning the doing, if you understand what I'm saying. So even if, say, let's just say you want a kayak. Then you're like, okay, well, I want to figure, you know, I need maybe a kayak. I need to figure out what lakes or what, you know, ponds or rivers or streams I can kayak in. I need to figure out, you know, how the knots or whatever nautical information works. It's like you go do the research to get everything together to go make your dreams happen. I feel definite go-getter energy, but pile one, it's not in the sense where I don't get the sense, even with the Fool in reverse, that you just go do things because you're Hangman, you're smart, you do your research first, but you do it feels like you put plans into action, right? You don't just think about it. You, instead of just saying like, I want a kayak, you know what I mean? You're doing the research. What kayak do I need? What kind of paddles do I need? What's the dress wear? What's the weather like? Where am I able to go do this? So it's not just that you want something, you think about it, you find a way to do it, and it does feel like you implement it into action. It may take you a while, but you do it. And this is very seductive to other people. So I'm gonna get another card here. I haven't really described you physically that much, but pile number one, I feel like a lot of it varies, though with the swords here, a lot of you, I just get the idea of you might have, it feels like you have strong features, if that makes any sense. Whether that is, some of the things I'm getting right now, take what resonates because it's going to be different for each person, and I do feel a strong variation in this pile particularly, but I am hearing some of you have very sharp jaw lines or very soft jaw lines as a girl. Maybe your face is kind of moon shaped, but it also could be oval, pixie. I also get your face shape could be very attractive to people. Like you have a good balance in your face from the jawline to the chin, you know, nothing that's interesting. Some of you may also have big, prominent foreheads, I feel like. Also, because you think a lot, your forehead may be very prominent and big and shiny, and it is actually cute. Don't hate on it. Okay, that's actually a beautiful feature people like. Legs, for one. I was drawn to feet. Some of you might have very, very nice feet and hands, because we're talking about the air signs here. What else am I seeing? I feel like you have a very good... You have beautiful eyes. A lot of people would either compliment your eyes or what your eyes do and your vision. So if it's not that your eyes are attractive, it's kind of the vision you have of life and the way you do it. Once again, we did say fashion, your fashion sense people find seductive, but really pile number one, it is physical. Let's put it this way. People find you seductive and they approach you because it's physical. Yes, they find you physically attractive, but it's like after they talk to you, they're like, oh, snaps. Because I was drawn to this Page of Swords the most. People find, oh, snap, this person's a good communicator. This person's smart. This person has depth to them. And all of a sudden, it's like you're a double threat now. And people, I think people find as they all go on, they're more attracted to your mind than they could ever be to you physically. Not that you're not beautiful. You clearly are with beauty, but it's who you are inside. It's your intelligence. It's your way of thinking and viewing that people find the most attractive. That's where they fall in love. That's where they are seduced. Honestly, they do fall in love. It's not even just seduced. They are seduced, but they also fall in love. And that's why they want to get to know you more. It also does feel here, pile number one, that people have a strong level of respect for you with the Hangman. And so I don't feel like a lot of people want to take advantage of you in that way once they talk to you. You know, looking at you, they might have dirty thoughts, but once they talk to you, it's almost as if those thoughts get shelved because they realize what kind of person you are. And it feels, I get this idea of you're the type of person who demands respect. So let's get one more card, and I felt that one. Yeah, you see, you're this beginning for people. You really open up their minds. Okay, yeah, with her, I'm getting, with how she's covering herself, I do get modesty for you. And even here, he covers his eyes. She's covered here. This girl is pretty, you know, covered despite being attractive. I am getting you may have very beautiful, strong arms, strong neckline, strong jawline, but you do hide. And it feels like because, again, the box here with all the tricks and toys, the magician, which the magician, like the fool, it does give air sign energy. So yeah, I get this idea like Aquarius. You may be an air sign yourself, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, but I do have strong energy here of you're someone who is very hot, is very good looking, but is your mind that seduces the most. Look at the white doves coming out of this box. It's like the box of ideas, the box of tricks, the box of all the things I know how to do. And once people see that, they're not even, it's not that they're not entranced by your body, but they realize, oh snap, there's a chessboard here almost. Yeah, very, very intelligent. Your intelligence is your most attractive, seductive trait, pile 1. Is there anything else I am seeing here? I go on and on about you. You're a fun character, I feel like, too, with the Fool and the Hangman and the Page of Swords. You're very witty, you're very fun, you're a good time, and people like you. I just get, like, people like you. Generally speaking, people like you. All right, let's see. This is the last one. You see, yeah, people want to make you a partner. I do. You know what I'm also getting with this thief card here? A lot of you have mafia energy to you, whether, and by that I mean, and not actual mafia, although maybe, I don't know. I feel like you could kind of cut a bitch, but it feels more so mafia energy as in when people say, when you read, if you've ever read like fan fiction or Wattpad or anything like that, and there's always like love stories between the mafia guy and falling in love with like this girl or vice versa. And it doesn't matter if you're a male or female. I just feel you have that energy of someone who could be the partner of an organized crime boss, because you're smart as heck, you're seductive, you're beautiful, right? Like you could be a spy. And so people would want you, I get this idea, people would want you to be their best friend and their marriage partner, their ride or die. I think you do have ride or die energy, and that is very seductive to other people with this relating house. And once again, 7th house rules Libra, it rules partnerships. Like everything about you is seductive. What do you want from me, pile 1? Do you want me to, I don't even know how to explain it to you. You have a nurturing side, you have a loving side, you're smart, you're beautiful. What don't you have is really what people would say. What doesn't this person have? Because they're fair, they're smart, they're fun, they can recede, they can be out there. But overwhelmingly, it is your intellect, it is your mind that people are the most attracted to. And they do want to be partners with you, which is why I said, for seduction-wise, people do, if they approach you, it is because you are attractive. That is what they're thinking. But once they talk to you, that shifts everything. It's like, okay, this person was attractive, and it's not that you're not now, but there's so much more to them than that. I actually want to get to know this person. I wouldn't, I just wouldn't want to, it's kind of feel this idea of I wouldn't want to just hit it and quit it. I actually want to know this person. I actually want to know, like what goes on inside of them, what they're thinking, what they're feeling, what is the depth to them, what is the level of knowledge to them. And that's the most seductive thing about you. So that's all I'm seeing. I honestly could go on for more, but I don't want to harp on a point too much. Just know that overall, pile 1, you are a seductive person based on your beauty. First and foremost, that is the physical thing that people see, or your handsomeness if you're a guy, followed by your intellect. And third, if you have wealth, then that comes third. People are attracted to that. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing, pile number 1. If you enjoyed this reading on how seductive you are, which is very, 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 comment down below, give this a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one, pile 1. Bye. Okay, hello, pile 2. If you picked this Metatron card, then this is going to be your reading. So I have the book because I'm not very familiar with the angels. Honestly, the only thing I know about Metatron is what I watched in Supernatural, and he was the scribe. So he is the secretary of God. He rules thought. So Metatron supervises special archives called the Akashic Records, where all thoughts and deeds are recorded upon impressionable and highly sensitized screen of mental essence. So interesting, he's connected to the Akashic Records. So it says, nothing comes into physical existence without first being a thought. You are God's thought, and you connect with eternal intelligence in your creative thoughts. I'm going to leave it there for now. But what I'm seeing for you, pile number 2, when it comes to what is seductive about you, similar to pile 1, we did talk about the mind here, but we'll see what gets different here. It feels like you are, even with Metatron being secretary to God, it feels like your mind is very attractive. Your thoughts are very attractive, but it is more so where you gather this from. It feels what is attractive or seductive, what is very seductive about you is your connection to source. And I don't know why I'm getting with this Metatron card that you're just kind of a boss. I get the whip here. Like, I don't know. You give top energy. Despite being the secretary to God, it's kind of, it's like the messenger of, I don't know how to explain it, but I am getting with this Metatron card when I'm looking at here is that, like, you give top energy. What can I say, pile 2? You give top energy. And I'm actually getting warm right now, so I feel like that is very true. Let's see what else. What is seductive? Yeah, destroyer. Okay, so I love this archetype. I get it a lot. And the destroyer archetype is what prepares people for a new life. So it does feel like your seduction comes from your ability to honestly F things up. You know, you're someone who, I think when people think of you, they think of destroy me, like destroy my life. Tell me what to, tell me what to do. Like, I don't know. Pile 2, I think you have very sexual energy to you, even with the flames. And just, I feel like this is a whip right here, and they're just getting ready to do some BDSM work. I do feel like you are seductive because you give off sexual top energy. Now, whether you are a top or not, it does not matter, but you give off sexual top energy. And it feels less like mommy daddy, where people want to like they want you to protect them, but more so it's giving head mistress. That's what it's giving. It's giving like headmister or prison boss or head mistress, you know, someone who keeps people in line. That's what I feel like. You keep people in line, and yeah, you're kind of the boss in that sense. And so you releasing what is potentially destructive, preparing for a new life, I feel like you have a very put together, I am on top energy. And it is just like for people who want, because let's be real here, some people don't want to live their life. You know, I was actually researching this with sexual energy for people who, for instance, are into like BDSM and stuff. And I'm not going to get too far into it because this is YouTube and I'm keeping it relatively PG. But what it kind of found is that some people like having a dominant because that person basically makes all the decisions for them and they don't have to think it all. It feels like you would be the dominant, right? Like you make all the decisions, you tell people what's up, and people kind of follow your lead. And so for people who don't want to make choices in life or kind of almost abnegate responsibility for their own lives, they would want to fall under you. You know, it's almost like the basis of religion or even spirit, you know, knowing you're helpless. There's this idea of surrendering to you, surrendering to your energy that is very, very, very seductive. So we're going to see what else here. But yeah, I get that strong sense of people wanting to almost submit to you and let you just take control of everything. And so because of that, pile number 2, I do feel a bit of your seduction and a bit, if you don't enjoy this aspect or this kind of power dynamic where you're on top, you may often struggle with people who kind of expect you to fix their life, you know, because they're not willing to do the work, but they know you're a strong person. They know you're someone who has it together. And so they kind of push off the responsibility, right? Self-accountability. They push off empowerment onto you and make you the boss of that. Because also 1 here, you know, 11 is the sign of like manifestation, to bring things into fruition. It's the very start of things. And so it feels like people just want you to start their lives for them a lot of the times. And that's seductive about you. But in terms of people you attract, pile 2, it could often be people who want you to kind of fix them or want you to put their life together. And I get that idea of you being like, well, some of you may like this aspect of being in control and being on top. But for those of you who don't, are kind of like, I didn't even know I was putting this off, because I'm hearing very clearly you do put off this energy. A lot, you know, you want people to take accountability, I guess I'd say. Like, you want people to be more accountable in their own life, but it's actually the people who are attracted to you are people who aren't, because they want you to take control. It also feels like this strong aspect of control here, that you have a strong grip on it, but we'll see. Let's see what we have here. We have the 9 of Pentacles and the 10 of Swords. Interesting. So let's start with this 9 of Pentacles about what is seductive. It does feel like you are very fashionable. It feels specifically like you dress very well or very, very put together. It feels even on your off days, you're kind of on. Like you just don't have sloppy energy. That's not how you do things. That's not how you come off. Once again, I really do get like a headmistress of a school or a head prison guard, you know, who not only are you it's this idea of being on top, because not only is a headmistress in charge of all the students, right? She's in charge of all the students. She's also in charge of all the teachers. So there's this idea of you having dual levels of leadership. Once again, 1-1, dual levels of leadership in your life. Likewise with the prison guard, if you're a male, you know what I mean? The top prison warden or whatever, the warden not only rules over all of the inmates, but he also rules over all of the prison guards. So it's like this idea of you having dual levels of power where you're at the top. And so, yeah, you're just not really sloppy. You don't come off sloppy. You come off put together. Let's see. I am getting something with this foot here. But I am getting, for some of you, even though you're put together, some of you have a wacky element to you, or you like something wacky, because I'm being drawn to her foot here, where she has one shoe and then the other's a wheel. It's interesting because I kind of like get the idea of match socks. You know how you dress everything nice, but you wear really wild socks or something. So there may be an element actually in your dress wear that is kind of wild or different or not really normal. So for instance, you put everything on nicely, but you put on these really outrageous, like, I don't know, peach butt earrings. I don't know. You put on something random. It's like this idea of something quirky. There is something quirky in your dress wear somewhere in there that you kind of throw in sometimes. Maybe it's a ring you wear, and it might be something you do regularly, or an accessory you wear regularly that's kind of different. Maybe you add, you know, you're dressed very put together, but you add chains, something like that. It does feel more like an accessory that you would add that would kind of take your look over, and it may be that it has sentimental value to you, or you really just enjoy adding something different to the outfit. That's part of your personality, is having like a little quirk there. But yeah, generally you are put together, you look nice. People would say you look presentable, you look like a boss, you look like someone who has power in their hands. So with the 10 of Swords, yeah, once again, I'm being drawn to people who don't have their lives together. I really don't feel that this is representing you in quite the sense. It's representing you and it isn't representing you. So let's get into what isn't representing you. What the 10 of Swords shows me here is that people really want to rely on you. Again, they want you to fix their life. That's why this person is being poked with all of these people's ideas, all of these people's wants. It's kind of, once again, going back to that headmistress, head warden. You have to take in mind not only what the inmates need, the people way underneath, but you're also thinking about what do the teachers need, and the teacher, you know, one teacher has this request, another teacher has this request. So it feels like a lot of times people may also try to pull you into drama because you are the boss. You're kind of the person with all the answers. That's how people feel about you, and that's what's seductive about you. And so, yeah, you may find that a lot of the times you have a lot of people's requests on you, and it feels like specifically requests, things they want, and they kind of put that onto you. But likewise, so when we're talking about you, you are the person that people put requests, but also when it comes to other people, it does feel like people, again, helpless people who don't know what they want you to break them out of the box. They want you to fix their lives and save them. It does feel like people you are the savior. That's kind of how people view you. It's honestly teetering on unhealthy for some people, but I think you're smart enough to know which is which. And again, if you've never viewed yourself like this, keep watching because this is your reading, but I do think you need to evaluate your relationship with control, because that is just coming in here strong. Now, if you know this is your role and you enjoy being a top, you know what I mean? You enjoy being the person in charge, you enjoy being the people that people look up to, you know the stress level that comes with it, but you enjoy being that person, then just keep watching. This is fun for you. But if you're someone who's like, I didn't even think I'd do this, like this doesn't even sound like me, it feels like you do have this issue with control that you're not even consciously aware of, that draws these types of people to you. And if you want to change that, of course you can change your seduction, you can change this, but yeah. Okay, yeah, you see, you are it. You are really it. Let's see here. We have the 9 of Cups, the 10 of Wands, and the King of Pentacles. You see, the King of Pentacles is the boss of the 3D. It does feel like you are a boss of the 3D. If you are not, you're going to get there. Because you're meant to be a leader, like a leader, the leader of thought, kind of like the leader of the school of thought. You are meant to lead people beyond themselves. So what I get with the King of Pentacles is, because he's the king of the 3D, the material, you are meant to be someone, if you are not already, who makes a good amount of money, or has a good amount of money, or has their own finances together. And it does feel like this is self-made. You are not someone, yeah, with Destroyer here, you're not someone who necessarily inherits wealth, but we also have this reflected here. You are someone who is going to build wealth. You're going to be someone who later on in life, if you're still young or you're not there yet, you are meant to be someone who is in charge. That's what I hear very strongly. You're meant to be in charge because also of your connection with the divine. You are getting messages directly from spirit, directly from God, directly from the universe, and it's your job to convey them. And that's also where I feel when you feel like things are too much, pile 2, it's your job to recede into yourself and talk with spirit again, because that's kind of what is required. It's almost like Jesus. Now, obviously I'm not saying you're Jesus or anything, but Jesus was the leader of, right, like Christianity, of these people. He was a teacher of God's word, and so even though he was looked up to and admired by all these people, he did have a lot of burdens. Obviously, we know, he had to be staked at the cross, etc., etc. And when he was stressed or when he didn't know what to do or whatever, he would recede into nature and he would talk to God again, because you don't answer it. I also get this idea, pile 2, you don't answer to man. You don't answer to anyone on this earth. You answer to God. You answer to a higher power. And so when you get lost or when you get confused, if you're overwhelmed, it's almost like you can take into considerations other people's words and thoughts, but ultimately it needs to come from you, because you need to connect with spirit or God or source, and that's where you're going to get your answers. I do feel strongly, pile 2, you are never going to get your answers from another person. Like, that is just not where they come from, because you are the head. You are going to be the top of the top. And so it's really important that you develop a good relationship with yourself and a good relationship with spirit, God, whatever higher power you believe in, because that's where you get your answers. Truly and honestly, take that to heart, pile 2. If you take nothing else to heart, you do not get your answers from other people. You do not get your rules or directions from other people. You get them from God. Once again, Metatron was a scribe of God. He was God's messenger. So who did he get his messages from? He didn't get his messages from, people at the bottom. He didn't get his messages from random humans. He got his messages from God. So again, I'm not making this, it's not inherently religious in a sense, it's whatever you believe personally, but I do feel that you are meant to be a boss, you're meant to be on top. And so when you are that way and you get confused, or you are that way and you don't know what to do, or you're having all these requests on you, it's important that you turn inward and up to the skies, kind of, and that's where you get answers. So yeah, you are someone who can handle a lot. This is seductive. I feel like in general, it is your energy and connection to spirit that makes you so seductive, because you're untouchable. I mean, once again, a volcano, you cannot touch a volcano. When it explodes, you will die. But once the volcano cools off, we know that volcanic areas are one of the most fertile on Earth. It can grow the most crops. So, like, despite what you do, maybe not being even understood at the time, pile number 2, in the long run, I feel this idea of, like, you're right, okay? I feel this idea of have trust with yourself if you don't, because you are right, and people might try and tell you you're wrong a lot of the times, but it's like ultimately, I feel this 9 of Wands, ultimately, in the end, they find you're right. And so you have to stay strong and true in yourself, because you are the boss. You are not meant to be, you're just not meant to be on bottom. You're not meant to be small. You're not meant to be underneath people. You're not meant to follow other people's orders. It's just not what's in the cards here. I know this is what is seductive about you, and that's where we are, but it does feel, there's something like deep here that spirit really wants to get across to you, which is why this reading has kind of crossed over, pile 2. Yeah, because I feel like this is also one of these points in your life that you may be at. Yeah, with the 9 of Swords and the 3 of Wands, of not knowing whether or not to expand. Maybe you get messages from spirit already about things, about being a boss, about these type of things, and you kind of doubt it, or you wonder if this is meant for you, if you're meant to be rich, if you're meant to have money, if you're meant to live this top life. Yes, you are. But again, I do feel this warning, and it's not a warning where you need to know that it's a problem, but it's something to be aware of, is that you are going to be a leader. Everyone, in that case of that hierarchy, everyone is looking to you. The people who follow you are looking to you. And yes, that comes with a high level of responsibility, and it comes a high level of having to trust yourself. And it feels like really trust spirit and not doubt yourself, even if the people underneath you don't understand at the time. I also think, obviously, you want to explain, but it feels like sometimes, with geniuses or people who are on top, people don't always understand things at the time. And it feels a strong sense of you're not always going to be understood, pile 2, but you will, it's like ultimately you will be right. You might not be understood. It might be kind of confusing. People might not understand why this is being destructive, but then in the long run, things are better long-term for people. It does feel this idea of longevity. You create longevity. And this is very seductive. So you being a boss is seductive to other people. Your wealth or coming wealth will be seductive. The way you can handle other people's burdens, other people's ideas, you hear them out. You are you're open, you're honest, you're sincere, you're willing to, feels this idea of like, I'm willing to welcome ideas, I'm willing to listen to other people, I'm willing to listen to their complaints, their desires, and I take all of them on, probably sometimes even when I shouldn't. And so that's why Spirit is very much cutting in here and saying, hey, like, but ultimately you answer to me. Like, you know what I mean? You don't answer to these people, despite them maybe wanting you to. You answer to something much more further beyond the Akashic records, you know, God. You don't answer to people. So cool. And also, if you feel really, really confused, how to, this is just a side note that could help you in the long term. I'm being drawn to the pillow here where go to sleep because you'll talk to Spirit in your dreams. That's a lot of the times. A lot of your dreams are where you get the connection. Yeah. Okay, and then we have 28 here, which goes out to 10. Interesting. Yeah, we have 9, 9, 10, 11. So 9, 9, 10, 9, 10. Interesting, right? 9, 10, 9, 10. The king, 11, and then this is 10 again. So 9, 10, and 11, interesting numbers there. There might be something with the number 9, 10, or 11 for you, or 11, 11 is great manifestation, etc. But just those numbers to keep in mind. And once again, we have another 9. So yeah, you're really meant to be top. Like, I hear only second to God or second to the higher power. Not really, there's no human that can really be above you, I guess is really, I don't know why I feel that way. Yeah, it's just a very strong feeling of no human can be above you. Though you do serve people, right? Like your job is to help them or whatever you're doing. Headmistress does serve the community because you can't be that level of boss unless there's people underneath you. But you don't serve, you don't listen to them. You don't answer them. You answer something higher. So finally what I'm getting here is you may also have a partner. The only other thing I'm getting here is you may also have a partner, which is part of your dreams. A partner who helps you, who you can actually trust to give you correct guidance. Yeah, I don't know. There's like this idea of your spiritual connection being how you communicate, but also get a partner. Let's see here. I want to get a clarify with this because I am a little bit. Okay, I get this final thing that pile number 2, that people, I don't know, it feels like people, so you're seductive because you are on top, right? You're the boss. That's what we've established here, how seductive you are. I know we got really off topic, but, you know, I just give the messages as they come. I really can't help it, what Spirit wants to put out. This is what he wanted to put out, or they wanted to put out. But ultimately, I do feel like you are seductive to other people spiritually, but also that spiritually you will get a lot of temptations to almost like abandon your task or abandon your job in pursuit of pleasure. Yeah, okay. Spirit's like, yeah. So you will get a lot of temptations in life, pile number 2, to abandon your mission or abandon your goal or abandon this high level to just almost get, it's almost like a sense of corruption. Like, oh, you know, don't worry about running the school or doing things right by people or listening to Spirit or God. Like, just come to me, do what I want you to do, you know, just worry about like sex or drugs or money, or worry about the things that aren't really, you know, even though you're on top, it's not like you're on top. And I don't really get a huge thing of worrying about money. You worry about what you're serving a purpose. That's what I feel like. And there will be temptations to abandon it, to just say, oh, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to do what I want to do and, you know, just worry about my own pleasure. And there's a very strong message here that it's okay. So I'm closing my eyes here to really get the message. I hear Spirit saying it's okay to indulge in pleasures, but overindulgence leads to downfall. Interesting. So it's okay for you to obviously take breaks, go to pleasure, you know, do things you want. But if you it's this idea of if you make your life solely about your own pleasure or solely about your desires in that sense, and kind of use your connection to Spirit feels like this idea of just using your connection for Spirit for personal gain, then I hear it can be taken away. Interesting. So that's just a little warning for you. It's not really something you have to worry about, I feel, too much. But, you know, if you get too if you get too wrapped up in pleasure, then it can be taken away. Interesting. Anything else, Spirit? I feel like there's just one more message for you. So I know we got off topic, but pile 2, you are seductive. To sum it up here nice and pretty for you, you are seductive because you are the boss. Yeah. Okay, you do have and then that one thing. So I'm getting 2 messages. Sorry, let me divide them to make it easy. So overall, you are seductive because you are the boss. You are the person who knows what's up. You are the top of the top, or you will be. Like I said, whether you are there or not, that is where you're going to be. All your wishes come true. You are literally abundance in the flesh, just gathering things up, but you're also a boss. You have very masculine energy, I feel here, destroyer. You know, you're able to get things done. You take on a lot. And so overall, your energy, your demeanor, how you carry yourself, your fashion wear, that is very seductive and people love that. But last little message here is I do feel you have a soulmate. I said that before and it came out again with You Are Never Alone. You have a partner out there. Oh, I honestly feel like maybe that's part of your journey or your problem is you may be tempted to abandon mission for your lover. Interesting. So just keep that in mind. I don't know how that plays out, and I'm not really going to dig too much into it because we're pretty much at the end of your reading, but I do get this idea of you may be you may be tempted to abandon mission or abandon position, right, as a top or whatever it is you're doing for a lover. It's like a temptation there. And I don't know what the answer is there, but that's just an idea. So overall, yes, you have a seductive energy, you're powerful, and you're going to be a boss. That's really what I want you to know. And then everything else I said previously, please take it to heart because if Spirit took away your message about how seductive you are to tell you about this like kind of master plan for you, it feels like you have a role to play, pile 2, and Spirit and God or whoever you believe in, they really want you to know that like there's something bigger for you. Like you have a very big role. And it's not even like destructive, but destructive in the sense of it's powerful. That's the word. It's a powerful role that you're going to play, and you're not meant to be small. You're just not. Yeah, you're just not. You're meant to be very big, very top. And always, 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 always connect back to Spirit because that is where you get your wealth. That is where you get your dreams. That's where you get your wishes. That's where your power resides, is through your connection with Spirit. Wow, this was so... once again, pile 2, never know how these readings are going to go. I just get the messages as they come, and this is the message I wanted to come through. So if you enjoyed this reading, I'm sorry we didn't get into you being super seductive, but we got more into just almost like your life purpose here a little bit, it felt like. There's a very powerful, strong energy here with you. That Spirit, I guess maybe you're at a crossroads, you don't know this, or you do know this and you're trying... then this is just confirmation, but Spirit wanted to get that in. So if you enjoyed this reading, comment down below. Be sure to give it a thumbs up. And pile number 2, powerful babies, I will see you in the next one. Bye. Okay, hello, pile 3. If you chose Michael, protection, then this is going to be your reading about how seductive you are. Now, in last pile, I had a lot of random messages come through, so bear with me. If this reading really spins away from how seductive you are, don't blame me, blame Spirit, okay? Okay, you can blame me, but I'm just taking the messages as they come. So right away with Michael, with how seductive you are, pile number 1. Or I'm sorry, it's the number 1 here, but you're pile 3. It does feel like you are very powerful and you are a protector of the innocent. I get the sense that you're kind of male or female. You're protective. You have a knight in shining armor quality to you, or if you're a female, I even feel a motherly protective quality to you. It feels like I fight for the underdog, or I fight for the little guy, or I make sure everyone has their share. There's a very noble, I feel is the word here. There's a noble energy to you, pile 3, and a noble, honest energy. I get knight very much. Because Michael is God's second angel next to Satan. It's like Michael and Satan, they're like the biggest kind of angels, and you picking the Michael card really gives me the idea that your seductiveness comes from your dedication, your loyalty, your knight-like qualities, the way you defend people, your strength, really. Yeah. And I do feel like you have an attractive look to you that is... It's not, there's something about the way you're attractive that is not traditional. And I'm trying to figure out what it is. Or it's almost, now I'm not saying you're plain or anything, pile 3, but it's almost like your seduction doesn't come from being the hottest person in the room. It comes from being the most sure person in the room. Does that make any sense? I think it does. So it's not even what I'm getting with Michael. It's not that you can't be attractive or you're not attractive. You are, but I don't, I'm not just going to tell I don't lie. I don't sugarcoat. If this is your first time coming to my reading, sorry to say I don't sugarcoat. It's not that you are the hottest person on the planet. I'm sorry if that was your goal in life or that's what you wanted me to say for how seductive you are. This pile is not it. It's not that you're the most hottest person in the entire world. It's that you're so, I feel this idea you're so sure, you're so confident. It's not even how you carry yourself. It's it's almost like the protection you provide people around you that is so seductive. It's interesting, pile number 3, because I feel like a lot of people want to curl up with you. Like they want you to be their partner. Like they want to be sheltered by you. They want to feel taken care of by you. And this is different because I had another pile like this, but this doesn't feel like people want you to like take care of them and baby them. It's like knowing that you believe in them or knowing that you're on their side is a powerful thing. That's what I feel like. If Michael is on your side, or if you know, not that your name, maybe your name is Michael, but if this person, you know, if pile number 3 is on my side, then it's okay. Like, then I'm on the right side of things. It also feels like you're a person who's very, like, once again, I said noble. So it's, people can trust your judgments. Like, if this person's on my side, then I'm doing the right thing. And that's very seductive to people. Like, people want, it's like people want to be around you because they know if you're choosing to engage with them or if you're choosing to protect them or have them in your energy, that they're doing okay. And this is like everyone that you would encounter at pile number 3. I kind of feel like it's not, because I had a previous pile, I don't know which one, but a previous pile is kind of like people who are weak want to be underneath this person, but this isn't weak people want to be underneath you. These are, it just feels like souls. Souls want to be with you because they know what a good person you are. Yeah. Okay. So we have the number 3 here, which is a very angelic number. Dreams, meditation, and escape. Yeah, it feels like you are serene. Your seductiveness comes from a calm, like a surety. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're not even the hottest person in the room, pile 3, but you have a quiet, it's like you do have a quiet confidence because you're connected to spirit, or you're not really worried. You're just very sure and calm and serene, and that just draws people right in. I mean, look at all these animals here. It feels like it draws animals in, it draws peoples in. It just draws it's almost like you are a vortex for anything living. Anything living would want to be around you because of what your soul represents, what your soul is. I want to go to the book for this to get something here. So it says, in addition to protecting our spiritual destinies, Michael also protects our bodies. Call Michael to be your champion in adverse situations to give you courage and protection. He weighs your soul, and if it's as light as a feather, yeah, you see, you go up, and if it's bad, you fall. So it feels like you are the judgment for people. Your judgment day, and so people want good and bad people. They have to pass your test to know if they're good enough to, and not even good enough, but if they are going to get peace. It's like you provide peace for people. You have such a, I don't even know how to describe this. Your energy, I'm trying to find the words here, pile 3. I hope so far I've kind of explained it, but it's like you're everything people would want to fall into. Like, I want your approval right now. You know, I want you to say, you have just a serene, it feels serene. You have a serene energy to you that people really do need your approval. This is seductive. And I know this is how seductive you are, but it doesn't feel like you're seductive as much, pile 3, as it feels like you're like comforting. You're the judgment. Like it's almost like your goodness personified. I don't even have a word for you. Let's see if Spirit can help me out here with some tarot cards. It does feel kind of like your judgment day. Like, if you say no, or you say someone's not a good person, or you weigh someone as being bad, then they have to live with that reality. Like, that's the truth of the matter. The truth of the matter is they're not good people, and now they have to live with that. But likewise, if you offer your approval, if you say, yes, you know, I believe in you, you're someone who's good, then someone can really trust, like, okay, it's like people can trust your word, pile 3. People can trust that what you say is true. They can trust you. You have such a noble, chivalrous, good energy to you. Male or female, I really feel that. Yeah. You see, once again here, I'm feeling this idea of people coming up to you and needing your approval, needing your judgment, saying like, well, was this okay? You know, if they're really unsure, and you kind of weigh people's souls, new or old, you weigh them and you say, yeah, that's okay. That's not okay. And they can trust that. They can really trust that. And I feel like a lot of you actually have a pretty good level of trust with yourself or the universe. Like, you know you can trust yourself too. And that's what makes it so attractive, is that you have trust in you. You have trust in God. You have trust in something bigger than yourself. And so people know they can trust your judgment. Yeah, it feels like people are racing to your tower to get the approval. You are seductive in the sense that people want to be around you. If you're not someone that people naturally gravitate towards, I would be very surprised, and I feel like that would be because they kind of watch at a deferential difference, respecting you. But it feels like you're the type of person who walks in somewhere and energy shifts. Like you can really shift a room, pile 3. People see you and they're like, oh, okay. Like you would know you arrived. And it's not because you're loud. It's not because you're demanding. It's not because of, it's just you. It's straight up just you. Your existence in itself, you walking in, and your connections. Like you were very blessed with something most people just don't have. There is this quality of rareness to you, pile 3. Yeah, very rare, like very rare. And so, yeah, I feel naturally the things you are interested in or do, it's like you're kind of a trendsetter as well. People want to follow suit. You walk in somewhere or you move, other people move. It's all, you're just the leader of it all in a way that is not, it's not like consciously you're trying to be the leader. I'm just being drawn to a coffee shop and you come in and all of a sudden, like, you might not even notice people staring at you, or people might not stare at you, but they feel differently. They might feel a percentage calmer, or they, all of a sudden they have this great idea and they can solve a problem in their life. And it's just by you walking in. It's like you carry spiritual essence with you wherever you go. And I'm not even explaining this right. I feel like I'm butchering this. I'm sorry, pile 3, but you do have very powerful, very, very powerful energy in a way that is not, it's not destructive though. It's like what destroys people is themselves. You're just witnessing it. Yeah. I get the quiet viewer who's watching people do things, who's observing things, and people make bad choices and they fall. And you know when they make bad choices. It's like you're aware, but you're not destroying people, really. I feel this idea of people destroying themselves, or people not listening to spirit or listening to their souls is what destroys them. And you just have to kind of weigh that judgment of what can and can't be around you. You have the most peculiar, it's peculiar isn't even the word for it, but it's like the most entrancing energy I've ever seen. It is so, I'm at a loss for words. I mean, your judgment day for people, that's really what it is. I don't know how else to explain it. You are that weighing of the soul. Is your soul good or is your bad? And so letting people knowing that they're allowed in your company, they know they're good. They know they're good enough. It's like you give them that belief. You give them that okay. And it's not because of the power you claim you have it. It's interesting because pile 2, and I feel like you guys are different. Not that these are connected, but pile 2, it was that, you know, they are meant to be a boss, but they're meant to be in the head, and they have this power and control issue. It doesn't really feel like you have an issue with power and control. You just kind of follow your own inklings. You follow your own intuition. You follow what feels best for you, and people just want to follow you. You just do what's right for you, and you have like a gaggle of followers. So let's see here. We have the 6 of Wands in reverse. Yeah, people are drawn to you. I'm also being drawn to the song in 𝐓𝐢𝐻. If you've never seen it, it's a play, but there's a song in there called Dance of the Robe, which I'll link below, and it's kind of like they're exalting her. She's a slave too. She's brought to Egypt, and she's also a slave she's a princess or a queen, you know, where she's from, but she's captured and she becomes a slave, but all the other slaves know she's their princess, and so they exalt her above them. They say, well, we need you to save us, you know, we need you to do this because you are, you know, you're our queen, you're going to be our leader. And so she has to like take on this responsibility, but it's given to her. And in the song she says, it's knowing what they want to be. Hold on, let me go through it. It's like, it's knowing what they want of me that scares me. It's knowing, having followed, that I must lead. It's knowing that each person there compares me to those in my past whom I now succeed. But how can whatever I do for them now be enough? It's like, and they just go, 𝐓𝐢𝐻, all we ask of you, this is the part, all we ask of you is a lifetime of service, wisdom, and courage. You know, to ask more would be selfish, but we can't ask anything less of you. And so it's like, you do have a lot of requests on you because you were born with something very unique. And it feels like it's in your genetic coding that, I'm telling you, pile 3, most people do not have what you have. They just don't. They don't have what you have. And so also I feel this idea of you are very isolated at times because you can't connect to a lot of people because they don't have what you have. They just don't have your view, your connection, your way of looking at things and seeing the truth of the matter. That's what I feel. You look at things and you see the truth of the matter. And a lot of people don't have the sense of clarity that you possess. Wow. I'm sorry, pile 3, but I feel like I'm failing you at explaining this. I hope it's coming across okay to you, but know that yeah, people really just want your approval. And your seductiveness just comes, and it's not even seductive, because that's not, I really don't get the sense that people do, you know, I don't think people don't find you attractive. They do find you attractive, but more than they find you attractive, they find you impressive. And impressive isn't even the right word. They just find you to be ahead of things, like to be the person they need. Yeah. Okay, so we have the person they need. So we have 2 pentacles here, the Devil in reverse and the Fool in reverse. It's like you show people their follies and their idiocy, but it's almost like you hold a mirror up to people and they see themselves what they've been doing. You're not like, well, you're stupid, you're dumb, you shouldn't do this. I don't feel this idea of you telling people about themselves. You're just watching them. And it's like through your energy, they can start to see themselves through your eyes. And then they realize through seeing themselves through your eyes, oh my God, like, you know, I've been making awful choices here. I've been stupid, I've been foolish, I've been dumb. And all of a sudden, it's like they feel really small and they didn't mean to, but it's just your ability to see through. I feel like this idea of you see through the truth of the matter without even trying. And so by just existing and being, people realize how much they do wrong. So I also get the sense now with this that a lot of people may run away from you, pile 3, because it's scary to realize it's like lesser energies actually can't handle being around you, to be honest. So like dark people, they're not going to last very long with you because your light is so strong, it will destroy them. They have to get away from you. They can't stand being around you. It's almost like you would be, and I think it's just because of this card deck that I chose, I'm getting so many religious Christian based kind of ideology here, but what I feel even with the devil is like, you know, Satan wouldn't, your energy would feel contaminating to him. They couldn't stand to be around it. And so you might also feel that sometimes people argue with you for no reason, pile 3, and you're kind of like, why? Like, what are you, and you're calm, you're like, why? But it's because you're making people feel small. You're making people evaluate themselves, and they can't stand in your light and think that they're right in some of the things, justify what they do. It's like they can't justify what they do at that point. It's true. They know it's not good. Yeah, people, so people who kind of pass the test or realize what you're about, it is the most beautiful thing to be in your energy. It's the most beautiful thing to have your protection or your prayers come their way. But for those who don't want to look at themselves or haven't looked in the mirror, you might feel that you might feel like people try and test you a lot, pile 3, but also that there's this kind of, there's this challenge they have of wanting your approval but not wanting to look at themselves, right? Like they want to be, it's almost like I want to go to heaven, but I don't want to have to do the work that is required to get into heaven, right? Like I want to be able to do whatever I want and not look at myself and not worry about the connection of things. But I know if I do that, I can't get into heaven. It's kind of like you confront that, you create that kind of, that pull there that people have to evaluate. And so a lot of people, I think they find they can't be around you because they're like, well, I don't want to have to deal with myself. I'll just pretend that this thing doesn't exist. So a lot of times you may be on the outskirts, but you are very seductive. I know this was about how seductive you are, but why are we getting so into the soul today? I don't know. Spirit's just like, well, I know we just said how seductive you are, but guess what? We're doing deep dives into people. You are someone people would follow to the end. That's what I feel. We'll follow you to the end, wherever you go. You know what else you give me? You kind of give me the energy of, if you've ever watched Lord of the Rings, you give me the energy of, you do give me protagonist energy, the main character, but also mostly Aragorn. I think the swordsmanship, if you've ever watched Lord of the Rings, he's like the rightful king of the White City, right? Gondor. He's the rightful king of Gondor, and it's in his bloodline, right, to overcome all of these things. But it's not like he doesn't ask for attention. He just does the right thing, and he just leads. He's naturally the leader, but it's not by any force. It's not by any means of power. It's in his soul. It's embedded in who he is. He's meant to bring you. It's like it's in your destiny, in your genetic. Once again, it feels like this idea of coding. There's like some genetic or Akashic or whatever coding is in you that is meant for you to be this person, but again, you may often feel like, I don't really want the spotlight, or I didn't ask to be put on top. I didn't ask to have all these challenges come my way. There's also a line in Lord of the Rings where Frodo, he's like, I wish the ring never came to me. I never, I wish I never found it. I wish this time never came. And Gandalf says, like, so do all who live to see such times, but that's not their decision to make. All they can decide is what they want to do with the time given to them. That's kind of the idea here, where you have time and you just have to decide what you're going to do with it, pile 3, because you were given these gifts. You were given this connection. You were given this protection, this grace, almost like the grace of God. You were given the grace of God, and it's just your choice what to do with it. Wow. We've gotten very intense here. I know you came for what is seductive for you. Once again, these piles have just been throwing me for a loop, and I've just had to go with it. So I want to get one more card here. Yeah, definitely. If you've never seen Lord of the Rings and you do decide to watch it based on this or something, I don't know why you would, but maybe you've never seen it. Look at Aragorn, that character, because that is, I'm feeling like Spirit's saying, like, that is you. That's kind of your life. And it's not even about where you come from, I want to say, pile 3. It's not like you could have had the worst background. You could have been abused. You could have had lots of bad instances or lots of bad things in your life, but that doesn't change the purity of your soul. That just is. Spiritually, you are so ascended, I don't even know. Like, why are you listening to me? I'm just an earthling. I'm just like a hobbit out here. Yeah, that's the energy I feel here. Now, also, we got the Moon card as your final card here. And I feel like there's something here with things being hidden. I'm hearing this, and I'm not going to elaborate too much because it feels like this is just Spirit's, like, last little bit of food for thought for you. There's something with things being hidden here. Your mother or your mother's genetic line or your mothers in general. It doesn't feel like women's, feels specifically like mothers. Whether how you feel about mothers, your mother, your adopted mother maybe, or your mother's line of people. That line means something. There's something there in the mother line. And then... it also feels this idea of journey, I feel. There's a journey here. There's a journey for you that you have to undertake. Interesting. But yeah, I would, if you do know your genetic history, look into your mother's line here, pile 3, because there's something there. Whether that's they're descended from royalty, they're descended from something, or they have some type of power in that line, I wouldn't be surprised because I'm feeling something with your mother line. Your mother line, but like, you know, the mother side of your family, especially looking at her grandparents, you know, and beyond. Something about who brought you into this world. That's very important for you, pile number 3. But yeah, that is all I'm seeing for you. I'm sorry we didn't get to how seductive you are, but you are something else. You know, seductiveness aside, you're a rarity, pile 3. That's something to protect, and that's something to really look into. Because you do something, like, you're doing something in this world. No, regardless of what job you end up having, regardless of your career, what you choose to do, you are doing something just based on who you are and what is in your coding. And I do feel like you are meant to be someone who's very much seen, admired, and almost exalted by other people, even if you don't want that role. It's like something that has to almost happen for things to... It's almost like this grand plan here. I do get the sense of there's a grand plan, and that's kind of the role you have to play, the star, despite maybe not wanting it. But yeah, that's all I see for you, pile 3. If you enjoyed this reading, it was kind of weird. I know this has been very kooky, but give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one, pile 3. Bye. Okay, hello, pile 3. If you picked this card right here that says vibration with the angel, let's see. We have the angel... I'm trying to see how to pronounce it, but I see they don't have it in here. So, 𝐃𝐨𝐧𝐚𝐭𝐢𝐨𝐧. Sorry if I'm totally butchering that, but that's the cards you picked for how seductive you are. And it says vibration, and I'm looking at the book here just for reference. So I'm just going to read a little bit. It says, you were born with the spiritual power to express yourself and hold your space open with your emotional vibration. Your vibration causes a magnetic attraction that draws the life force to you. This is the electronic light substance that nourishes the body and spirit, connecting you to your eternal self. So, vibration. What is seductive about you? I do feel you are seductive, pile number 4. Pile number 4, you're very seductive, and it does feel like you're okay, so I'm feeling a lot of things, because vibration, we feel through sounds, we feel through touch, but they're not visible. So it does feel like your seduction is not as physically based as it is the light it's like your aura. So it could be your aura, it could be your voice right now I'm hearing, it could be the touch or your body, like the touch of your body, feeling your body. But it's it's not necessarily something you can see, it's something you feel. And so it's, even if you are physically attractive, it's not even your attraction physically, it's how you make people feel because of your energy. It does feel very energetic here, the way you vibrate, the frequency you vibrate on, that attracts and seduces people. Honestly, you do seduce people. The other piles, I got some, we got into some weird territory, but I feel like for this pile, we are getting back to just seductive, straight up, how are you seductive? So, yeah, once again with the Four of Pentacles, I'm feeling touch. You have a very attractive body. I don't care what your body looks like physically, it's the touch of it. So whether that is your skin is soft, it doesn't matter if it is or isn't. These are just some examples. But touching you, I feel I'm hearing is like touching God. Like you're feeling something when people touch you. And I feel like people feel very, with the Four of Pentacles here, they feel very possessive of you, Pile 4. Once they touch you, it's kind of like you're theirs. Like people want you to be theirs. I honestly get the idea of I want to be the only person who touches you. Once again, we have 4 here, which is the foundation, the stability. And then we have 7. So anyway, but also here with the 4 of Cups, yeah, it's like your emotions too. The way you emotionally go about things, it feels like you pick up on frequencies emotionally, pile number 4. And so you may pick up on people's emotional states before they themselves are aware of it. And this is very seductive because you it's almost like you can absorb it or put it out or channel it or change it. I really feel this idea of auras and energy. There's this idea of an energetic way that you connect, almost like tides or water, that you flow through things that is seductive. It is very seductive. And I also get here with the 4 of Cups with the apathy that a lot of times you don't notice people are interested, or you don't notice their emotional like you don't notice people being attracted to you or people being seduced by you. You kind of like are just turning your head from it or napping or not paying attention. And when you don't pay attention, that's very seductive to people. Also, I feel when you sleep or doze off, so if you've ever fallen asleep in a public place, I don't know why you would, pile 4, but you might be the pile. If you've ever dozed off, say at a coffee shop or on the train or, you know, or subway or something like that, people have thought you were attractive while you were taking your little nap or while you were resting. They thought you were attractive, seductive, they wanted to get to know you more. But yeah, it does feel like emotionally people very much connect with you, or they feel connected to you. And once they touch you, they also really enjoy that aspect of it. Let's see what else is here for what is seductive, how seductive. But I would say pile number 4, you're very seductive. It's like people want to I feel this idea of entwine themselves with you. Yeah. Well, 4 again. Okay. Wow. Pile number 4, pile number 4, 4, 4, 4. Wow. Pile number 4, you have I don't even know what it's not intense necessarily. It's not even powerful. It's just almost a connective hold that is hard for people to break. I feel also this idea of bonding with you, like people bond with you either very easily, or once they do, it feels very hard for them to break that bond. They will forever feel connected to you once they do. Once they connect to you once, they're connected forever. They can't, it's like they can't, I get this idea of I can't shake you. So if you ever even hooked up with someone, they've thought about it again. They think about it again. They think about it long after. They want to, it's not even like they want to know more. They just, I get this idea of there's something there's something, yeah, my phone just vibrated. There's something I can't shake about you. That's what I hear. And so that's how I feel people feel about you, pile number 4. There's something about you they can't shake. They honestly just fall in love. It also feels more like you are it feels like you're the more feminine aspect, to be honest, pile number 4. Some of the other piles I was getting very much masculine energy put out, but for this pile, I feel you're the feminine aspect where people want to protect you, they want to celebrate with you, they want to marry you, they want to wife you, hubby you up, and it's like having you around is enough. That's what I hear. Having you around is enough. Because I'm really being drawn to this 4 of Cups, how he's sleeping and not really paying attention. You don't have to do anything when you're around people. Once again, like a previous pile, your energy though, your vibration is enticing enough. I wonder what it is about that. So let's see here. What is it about? Okay, what is it? Actually, I'm gonna switch decks here because there is something about just being around you when you're sleeping, when you're awake, and when you're just chilling out. People would want to be around you if they could. You also are I am getting now more so as we keep going here that you are attractive, but again, that's not what does it. It is the touch. Once again, the touch. People touch you and they're done. They're done. Especially if they're interested in you. Interesting. Especially if they're interested in you sexually, it's like once they touch you, they feel a connection. Be very cautious, I guess I'd say, pile 4. I mean, you know, hug people or whatever, but you can get people very attached to you by touching them. That's very interesting. So we have square here for challenge with the 4 of cups. And I hear that you take the challenge away. So whether it does feel like you present a rather whatever frequency you vibrate out. Oh, okay. I see. So pile number 4, excuse me, I had to get the message. You guys are empaths, which is why we see the emotions here. And so I do feel that you're overwhelmed, and maybe touch is very overwhelming to you to begin with. Like, you don't like to touch people, you find it overwhelming to touch people, or you don't like to give hugs, which would make sense. I'm being drawn to, if you've ever watched The Haunting of Hill House, there's the one girl named Theo, and she can like see things when she touches people, so she wears gloves all the time. I just feel like your touch is very powerful. It's very healing. You can do things. But I feel you take the challenge away from people. So when they're with you, it's like you can almost absorb their emotions. They can present them to you. And if you choose to, you can absorb them. And some of you might not actually choose to right now. You unconsciously do this. You can absorb their emotions, and it's almost like they're not burdened anymore, right? Like, you take on people's challenges, their emotional and vibrational challenges, without even thinking about it. You're very good at that. Like, you can just, you're almost like a sponge. There's one video I watched where it was talking about like how empaths or INFJs or something walk in the world, and it's like people have a problem and they just touch you and you absorb the problem and they don't have it anymore. Cool. Another person touches you, the problem goes up to here now because you absorb more people's problems and they don't have it anymore. And so you have like this absorption. That's what I feel. You're like a sponge. You can absorb people's emotions and their problems and their feelings, and they no longer have to struggle with them. You take them on. And so it's like the challenge is now gone. And so that's why people would want to be around you a lot, or want to touch you a lot, or keep you, because you can energetically very much take things from people, and not the things that they don't want to let go of, but the pain. You can take the pain, you can take hurt, you can take bad emotions, and essentially you can take them on, which isn't always good for you, I hear. So I do want to say, pile 4, you more than other piles, be cautious of who you engage with physically, especially sexually, because you just take on a lot. You can take, it can kind of contaminate your structures if you allow people in that way. So let's see what else I'm seeing. For how seductive. Yeah, I think you're kind of a showstopper in some ways. I do feel you're attractive, but once again, it is your touch. But I also feel like people with the reputation, people do want to, okay, first of all, I feel like people do want to rule you, okay? I don't know if you're, oh, sorry, knocked my camera. I don't know if you are a submissive person, or a person who, you know, is okay with people kind of, I mean, you're very emotional. Like, you just have a very feminine energy to you, so I don't know, but it does feel like people want to rule you or have you as their, you know, my second in line, my co-captain. I also get kind of the queen to my king, or vice versa, but it does feel, yeah, I'm hearing regardless of gender, people view you as their second in command, guy or girl. It's like people would, if you're a man watching this, it's like you would, women who would want you to be their partner, but not their ruler, right? Like they might be one of the other piles that likes to be the ruler. They would want you to be their partner, though they're second in their man, kind of like their queen in that sense. Likewise, if you're a woman, that's like the king is the ruler, he's the front of it, but you're right behind it, you're the second in line. I'm being drawn to that Beyonce song, 𝐓𝐢𝐩 𝐉𝐚𝐫, where she says, you know, I can do for you what Martin did for the people, ran by the men, but the women keep the tempo. Once again, with the vibration, ran by the men, but the women keep the tempo. So, and she says, it's very blessed that she says, it's very blessed, it's seldom that you're blessed, there it is. It's seldom that you're blessed to find your equal, but play your part, let you take the lead role. That's kind of the energy I feel here for you, pile number 4. You are the equal. You are an equal. You're not less than someone just because you're doing feminine energy work, but you choose to be second in line. She says, you know, it's very seldom that you're blessed to find your equal, still play your part, still play my part, and let you take the lead role. You let someone else rule, you let someone else look like they're the boss, but that doesn't mean you're not in charge. That doesn't mean that you're not equally as much as important or a part of the partnership. And so I feel like that's very seductive about you, because a lot of people want to be the boss. Like, a lot of people want to have the power, want to have the reputation, want to have the status. And I feel like you're someone who's okay, or who is able to be second in command, knowing that that entails just as much power, if not more. It's like you understand the power of feminine energy, and that is what is so attractive to people. It's very, like, you're very attractive to people, and it seduces them because not, you know, this world for a long time has operated in masculine energy. As we are shifting towards more feminine energy, it's becoming more, but it's kind of rare because everyone is ruled by this now masculine energy, that to have this receptive energy around someone is very, it's like enticing and different because people don't normally, again, a lot of people block that frequency. They don't choose to operate at it. And it's this idea of you embrace that frequency. And so people would want you to be their second in command. All right, let's see what else I'm getting. Yeah, you see, mediator, like you're that middleman, able to draw peace, able to, your vibe, it's like really your vibe. You can calm things down. I feel like you have a strong empath energy here where you can actually, now you might be someone who is only on the one side of an empath right now where you only know how to take in energy. And so you might be very easily drained or tired by people. But once you get stronger, you practice working with your emotional frequencies, Pile 4. I feel that you're actually going to be someone who can influence, and you might already do it now a little bit, not knowing, but you can influence the energy of a room to make it however you want to. I'm also being drawn, I know Twilight's awful in some ways, but like, whatever. So there's a Twilight character, Jasper, I think is his name. And if you've ever read the books or anything, he can influence the emotions of people in a room. He can feel the emotions, but he can also influence them. And so, you are someone who can, I feel like it's much easier for you to take them in. So you have to be cautious of that and figure out what's going on and make sure you of all the piles have to be cautious of the people you engage with. Like I just don't think it's going to be as easy for you to engage with negative energies because you are able to take in so much. So just so you know, it's okay, Pile 4, specifically for you, if you need alone time, if you say no to people, if you literally cannot handle being around some people, because energetically, you are just much more sensitive than the average person is. And so you have to take precautions in a different manner that a lot of people who are not in touch with that frequency may not understand, but it's your job. It is your job, Pile 4. I also feel like that with this 4 here. It is your job with the 444 to protect yourself. Spirit is protecting you, but it is your job to protect yourself. So if you need to say no, if you can't be around a certain energy, don't feel guilty or bad about that. You know what I mean? Like that is something you have to do for yourself. But like I was saying, in the book, Jasper, or what was I saying? I was saying something about taking in emotions, right? So you take in emotions, Pile number 4, but as you get better at it, I think you will find that you are able to influence emotions. When you walk in a room, if you want something to go a certain way emotionally or influence someone emotionally to do something, you can. For instance, I'm getting, this is just an example, but say there's a heated customer coming in. And they send you to go mediate it out. They're like, oh my God, this person's so upset, and maybe you're the manager or something, like, can you go talk to them? And so you walk out and energetically you set the tone, right? You set the frequency, and naturally they have to match yours because they want to find balance. And so they will come in and you'll calm them down. They'll be calm. By the end of it, they'll be like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have freaked out like that, because you influence energy that way. That's what's seductive about you. You literally have such emotional power. I don't know if you're aware of this, but vibrationally you can do it. As well, because we have mediator here and it's about negotiating fairness, I do feel like your voice or music is something that can help you, because music is a frequency, right, that we absorb. Being also cautious of the music you listen to because it can influence your frequency, Pile number 4. You're definitely in touch with the emotion frequencies, like the energies that and the auras that people don't. It's like a wave. You're in touch with the waves that people can't see. You're like the wind. That's what I kind of feel. You can't see necessarily. You see the effects of wind, right? Like we can see leaves move, we can see things knock over because wind has hit, but we can't actually see it. We don't see the wind, we feel it. And that's kind of your power. You're like wind. You can't exactly see the effects of what's going on or what you're influencing, but you can feel it. You'll feel the shift. And so you do have a very, very good power for negotiation. If you did want to go into something like law or not necessarily law, but things along those lines, or therapy, mediation, things like that, you'd also be a great salesman because you can influence the people around you to do what you want. The other thing I was getting here was a car salesman. And maybe you want a better deal, so you kind of walk in with a certain type of energy, or you influence the energy to be calm or to be more open, or to try and provide you the best deals possible because they feel connected to you. They feel like they've known you before. They feel that you remind them of their grandma, so they want to give you the best deal. Like you can get the best deals possible. I also get with Upgrade You, there's a line in there where he says, take me just to compliment the deal. Because you might not be the person negotiating necessarily saying like, well, this, and this. You might have someone do that for you, but you're in the background influencing the emotional state of what is going on that is leading to your deal. You're equally as powerful. You're just not as visible in that sense of what your work is doing. Very much internal work. Oh, and once again, that's what therapy is. You know, you don't necessarily see the physical results of therapy the way you see physical results with a fitness instructor, but you know that maybe if you've gone to therapy for, say you had food addiction, right? You could be someone who helps people with food addiction. You know how to influence the inside so that they stop taking in so much food. You do get results in the tangible, but your work does not reside in the tangible. There's no way to quantify or kind of like qualify what it is, what you do, because it's so subconscious. It's a part of the flow of the world. It's the unseen, it's the spiritual, because it's the frequency, it's the vibration. That's not something we, I mean, we're finding ways to measure it, but, you know, back in the day, kind of that pun of like, if a tree falls in a forest and no one hears it, did it really fall? That's your energy, yeah. And if you didn't know this, this is a very seductive part of you, and this is leading to a new beginning, I feel. Yeah, you're the seedling. Like, you can plant things. I also get inception here, where you could plant an idea in someone's head. Like, you know, your influence is stronger than you know, because it sets the foundation of something without anyone. It's in the subconscious that you operate. And so people they wouldn't even be aware of what you're doing necessarily, but consciously they start to make different choices. And so this is very seductive. You do have a powerful gift, pile 4. But you are seductive because of this ability that you yourself, again, may not consciously work on. Or I think it is something you should really think about honing in on, because I hear it can make you money. Like, it can make you money. It can bring you success. It can do something for you. But, you know, you'd have to be aware of it to work with it. I mean, if you don't practice, of course, it's not going to get better. It's like anything. It's a muscle you have to flex. And so once you are aware of this and you use it, you could definitely make some things happen. Again, on the subconscious level, and people they're not even aware of. You could be a master manipulator, pile 4. You really can get anything you want, because you can get to the underneath of it all. The things that people aren't even consciously aware of, you can get there. I also feel like if you wanted to, pile 4, you could dream travel. Maybe you already do, and kind of get into people's dreams in that way. I've never tried that. I don't even know anything about that, but I was being told to tell you that you could get into dreams, or into, once again, like the dreams or the emotions of someone, and influence them that way. So yeah, you're very powerful. You honestly have a very scary gift, I'd say, pile 4, because people don't know what hit them with you. And this is also, I feel, how you hook people. This is how you hook people romantically, and this is why you're seductive, because of this gift that you yourself may not be aware of. You can influence emotions. You see? And so if you want someone to be happy and find the perfect partner, you can be the perfect partner. And I think that's very seductive. I think you are the perfect partner to whomever you decide to be with. You will be the perfect partner for them, because you not only understand emotions, things that we often neglect and don't take care of, but you can also influence them for the better. You can heal people. So you're a healer at the core of you. That's what it is, pile 4. You're a healer. And that's going to be something that I think can carry you far in life if it hasn't already, once you're aware of it. And I think it's also your gift in partnerships. It's why you make such a good partner, I feel. And people would want you to be with them. Yeah, I also think if you just want to be a mom or something, like, that's very seductive. But this is kind of your talent. And I know we were talking about, you know, how seductive you are, and you are very seductive because of this emotional, again, vibrational frequency that you operate at. But also it can, like, you can use this in your life to influence things the way you want it, pile 4. You can use it to get a partner. You can use it to get money and influence things in a way that you might be second in command, but you are the power in a way people are not aware of. And you would make a very great parent as well, pile 4. So that's what I'm seeing. I hope you enjoy this reading. I know, for all these piles, I know I really feel like I didn't just, like, give you how seductive you are. I jumped into this weird realm of thinking, but when spirit gives me messages, I just convey them as I come. So I hope you did enjoy this reading, and you got something out of it, and you understand something about yourself moving forward to spin things to your advantage. You know what I mean? Because you do have a power. And like I said, once someone has you, or they engage with you sexually, or they touch you, it's capped. Like, they're yours. Your touch is healing. Once again, your touch is very healing. That's all I have for you, pile 4. If you enjoyed this reading, comment down below. Be sure to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Okay, hello, pile 5, my final pile. If you pick this card, then this is going to be a reading. Now, I wasn't going to do a 5th pile, but Spirit was like, you thought you're doing a 5th pile. So we have prayer here. We're talking about how seductive you are, pile 5, but I want to say that I have had a lot of other messages come in. I just feel like this deck in itself has a spiritual essence to it that, yes, it's how seductive you are, but we're looking past the physical and really getting into like more core issues. So be aware of that going in. So we have prayer here. We have 𝐓𝐢𝐻, I would say. And I'm just going to read a little bit of it because I feel it might apply to you for how seductive you are. So it says, gradually, by attempting to include God in every aspect of life, you replace old thought patterns of judgment, criticism, and despair with ascension. When you feel anchored in truth and love, envision the highest good and the perfect will of God, blah, 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 you instantly attract whatever quality is needed. So, yeah, I hear for how seductive you are. We are going to get into more depth, but we'll start with like the very basics of it. How seductive you are, pile number 5. You're very seductive because of your ability to, I feel, shift and transform. And because of that, you can be seductive to, I feel, anyone. Or you, in the sense, you could seduce anyone. I feel you have with the lights here and them walking, I just feel like you have this very strong inner light, as well as like heart. I'm getting a full package here, but I want to get more cards to really clarify this. But it says instantly attract whatever is needed. So it feels like you can really attract anyone. You're very seductive because of this. And I do kind of feel like with all their heads down, you kind of keep your head down a lot, or you're not, it's almost like modesty is your seductive quality. That's kind of what I'm feeling here, a sense of modesty. And you attract what you want by not attracting what you want, if that makes sense. By not really asking for it. It's very feminine energy here once again, where it comes not from demanding or asking, but just kind of almost suggesting. I feel like you suggest something and you can get that. Okay, we have the Tower card. I hear some of you have really banging bodies, though, on a side note. Like, some of you have really, physically speaking, people would say you have a very nice body, even if you don't think so. Yeah, I'm getting that again. Very nice body. And there's something innocent about you, pile number 5, that people find very attractive and seductive. And I feel like they feel defensive about it. First of all, I feel people get very defensive about their attraction to you because it's strong. Like, I also feel instant attraction or fatal attraction. It's just like that. Like, oh, I'm attracted to this person. And there's nothing they can really do about it. That's what I feel. So they feel almost defensive about it because it's like, why am I attracted to this person? And it also could be that you're very popular physically. Otherwise, that's like, well, everyone's attracted to this person. Why am I attracted to this person too? You kind of give celebrity energy of like the it boy or it girl who... it's coming to my mind like 𝐃𝐨𝐳 𝐕𝐴. Like, why is everyone attracted to him? I don't know. Like, is he that good looking? Maybe. But everything, like every person who watches him in a movie afterwards, or most girls are like, oh my God, he's so hot. And so you have this kind of popularity too, I feel as well, pile 5, that is very attractive and seductive to other people. Yeah, I see judgment here. Lots of people think you're attractive or seductive, and that adds to your seduction. But on top of that, it feels modesty here. You're not someone who's bragging about it. I also get like Zendaya, something like that, where you're very... A lot of people would say, "Ooh, that person's, that person's it. They're fine. They're blah 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 blah." But also, Zendaya has very down to earth energy. You never hear her saying like, "Oh yeah, I'm so hot. I'm so attractive," or almost like it doesn't seem like she capitalizes on it in a sense. She is attractive, but it just kind of is. She does her own thing. She has very earthly energy to her, a down to earth energy. That's how I feel. You're very down to earth, and this is very attractive. And people feel defensive about how instantly attracted they are to you. Pile number 5. I just feel you have some angelic quality to you also as well, physically. Whether that's like an eyes, nose, something like that. There's something angelic about you. That people would... Honestly, you might be one of those people that people have called an angel before. Like, oh, you're an earth angel, or you're just an angel. Or I get like endearing nicknames here a lot. Maybe sweetie, honey, cutie, things like that. People like to call you that. There's just innocence to you. And it feels very much physically based as well. Like, I do feel energy, but physically based, you actually just look innocent. It's interesting. This is a very physical pile. People must really feel seducted by you physically. But it does feel like, yeah, physically people think, gosh, this person is so innocent. It's not even how you dress. Although some of you do dress modestly. It's also definitely how you carry yourself. But you're very attractive. You're very innocent. You're very modest in senses. Because I would even say Zendaya is modest. Like, yes, she dresses like a fashion person, but she doesn't really dress... It's not like you see her posting pictures in bikinis. Not that there's an issue if you do that, but that's just not the energy I get. Yeah, kind of flower child energy. Okay, we have Saturn. We have Saturn, wisdom, and we have 7th house partner. I also do feel, pile number 5, people would want to make you a partner, not just a lover. I feel people wouldn't be mad if you're just a lover. Like, people would... people are dirty enough for you, pile number 5, that they'd be okay with a one-night stand. They're not going to be mad about it. But yeah, because I feel like even just one night is enough. I take you to higher heights. You could take people to higher heights. Like, I think you're quite good. You know what? You're really giving me lady in the sheets, freak in the sheets right now. Like, you're giving me, I'm very good in bed, or I can do some really cool tricks or something. Maybe you're very flexible, or you're very good in bed, but it's not, someone wouldn't think that necessarily looking at you. Because again, you don't give me, I'm not really getting a hot energy from you. It's like beauty. It's more innocence. That's what I'm feeling, an innocent energy. Something about your face being soft or fertile and young. That's kind of the energy that makes you so seductive. But underneath that is like, haha, I can put it down, take you to higher heights. You know what I mean? I got a lot more to me than just being innocent and sweet. Yeah. And even your figure, I feel like, is just very soft or curvy. It's soft or curvy, yeah. Interesting. Male or female? A lot of you guys have nice butts, because I'm being drawn to the butts here. Just nice bodies, honestly. I don't care what your body looks like. I'm feeling like, yeah, they're like through and through this pile. Your body is art. And it might not even be that it is art in this time. For instance, we know back in ancient Greek times, they really liked women who were a little bit heavier. You know what I mean? They had more hips. They had a little more butt. Not that we don't like heavier, but we kind of have this weird thing now where we like fake butts and big boobs. And it's, it's fine if you like that. But back in the day, it was more of a natural, just heavier set women. We liked heavier set women because that meant, wealth, fertility. And so it kind of feels like even if you have that kind of body, a heavier set body, it's attractive. It's attractive in its own, it's like art. There's something about this being like art. It's body like art. Your body is art. But for likewise, some of you do work out a lot. You're very disciplined, and that's attractive. Your hard work pays off when it comes to your body or your appearance or your personality. It does feel like you have like a strictness to you, Pile 5. I don't know whether it could be anything. So it could be that prayer time or spiritual time. You're very like, oh, I'm going to church. I go to church every Sunday, or I write in my manifestation journal every night, or I make sure that I pray every evening. It's like you're very, I guess I would say, ritualistic. You have rituals that you do that you've disciplined. It's discipline that keeps you doing it. It's not just because, oh, I always want to do it. You set rituals to become kind of routines as well, so you'll do it regardless. But that's very attractive. You're very responsible. You have an earthly energy to you, because also for this pile, for how seductive you are, I'm actually not being drawn super spiritual, like talking about all this other weird stuff. I'm being very much grounded in reality. Like I feel like I'm seeing clear, like, well, this is what's seductive about you. You came to this pile, this is the answer you're going to get. And I also feel like maybe you have that kind of cut and dry, like, okay, you asked this, well, I'm going to answer it with the answer. So for instance, it's giving, I'm having Virgo energy here a lot. Maybe you have Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, or maybe your Mars or your Venus. We do have Sagittarius here. I do get Libra, Mars. I get Mars. Where Mars is at in your chart might be where the house it's in. I don't know. I'm feeling that kind of energy. You are seductive because of modesty, because of your dedication, your service, the way you work, the way you operate, the way you... I'm even hearing for some of you the way you pray. That's interesting. Let's see. Let's get an archetype here. Get an archetype. Okay. And once again, it said bones here. I didn't even see that, but bones. Like, your bone structure might also be just very beautiful. Interesting. You're freeing yourself and others from destructive impulses. I do feel like with this earth energy and this kind of shaman looking guy, I do feel you're very down to earth, very connected to earth, very connected to nature and plants, and you free people from... It honestly feels like spiritual misconception. So a lot of people get caught up in the spiritual and all these things in their mind, and you bring them back down to earth. It's kind of, you may enjoy weed. I don't know why I'm getting that randomly. Some of you may really enjoy weed or smoking weed, earth's plant or earth's herb, but you really do like to come back to earth. You're like, let's just chill out. Let's just eat some snacks. You do have a chill energy to you. It's like you just exist. It's very much I vibe, I'm grounded, people would say I'm chill, I do what I do. And that's very attractive to other people. That's very seductive. Yeah, and I also feel like you're not very judgmental. Like, you're just kind of like, okay, if someone's like, oh, I, hooked up with a guy last night or something, you're like, okay, what happened? You go about your day. You're not really, I feel like it takes a lot maybe to surprise you or get you worked up. People get worked up over you, I think, over their attraction to you, but it takes a lot for you to get worked up. Yeah. Like, I'm being drawn to this guy, and normally I took him differently, but today I'm feeling him kind of, like, laughing at me and, like, okay, like, someone comes talking all that noise, and you're just like, okay, bye. I'm not dealing with that. You're chill. Honestly, you're kind of like that guy or that girl. Like, you vibe. Your attractiveness is just because you're seductive because you... It's not that you don't care, but I kind of get the energy, or maybe you're just at a point right now where you really don't care. You're like, I don't care about this destructive stuff. You might not even care what's going on in the world all like that, because I'm not getting a lot of sensitivity. I feel like you're disciplined. You just do the work, and you're kind of like, this is what it is. Very much, I feel realism. Like, you do connect with spirit. You pray. You are connected, and you are, like, you do have this servantile energy to you. Very Virgo, service and ritualistic, but you're also like, I don't care. I don't care about that stuff. Like, I'm not worried about the criticism. I'm not worried about people hating. Like, people are going to say what they're going to say. You're not looking at that. You're not paying attention to that. You're focused on, I don't even know. I feel like you just focus on just being. You're like, I just do what's up. I just do what I do, and that's it. And, yeah, I feel like people would want a marriage with you because they feel like it would be, something about you is very stable. You're a very stable person. Yeah, okay, we have the Emperor in reverse. You see what I mean? Like, I get the sense of you're empowered. Let me get one more. Oh, yeah. You're empowered. I would say that's the word for you. You're empowered, Pile 5. And you are not worried about being... It's like you're not worried about superficial, dumb stuff. You're just not worried about it. Like, you're really not worried about it. You're not worried about... Again, I'm really being drawn to Zendaya. I feel like you have Zendaya energy. Like, you're just chilling interviews. People find you funny. You seem like a person people want to hang out with. Like, everyone likes. You're very popular. But, like, there's not a lot of taking advantage of little people or trying to be the boss or trying to be the center of attention or... like, even worrying about what other people are saying. You're just kind of like, okay, that's that. Like, I can't be worried about that. You really have your ish together in a way that is, it's not about, like, the status of having stuff together. So it's not about having, you know, maybe wealth or a lot of money or having that job or that car or the appearance of, oh, they have it together. Look at them. They have millions of dollars and they have all these friends around them. You know, it's not necessarily like you actually have it together. I feel like I know what's up. I know what it is. And I'm not really wasting time on things that aren't. Or I don't really give my attention or my energy or my mental space to things that are not that. You know, I don't waste time on that. You're a very, very balanced person. That's what I feel like. You're very balanced. You work, you do spiritual stuff. And honestly, a lot of people would say, like, Zendaya is kind of almost, like, perfect, you know? And, of course, everyone has flaws, and I'm not saying you don't have flaws. You could have a tendency to be hard on yourself or not think things you do are good enough. But overall, it feels like you just have a very good hold on being alive, like, just on living. And this is very seductive to other people, especially people who don't. I feel like you're someone who has structures in life. People who aren't structured are very drawn to you. Even if you're kind of a person who travels a lot, because there's Sagittarius here and likes to go... you know, on adventures or go out to different places or try new things. It's like you still have structure. It's like even if you... I just keep being drawn back to, like, journaling or something ritualistic like that, or taking a shower, your nighttime routine. It's like you still do the things. You have structure even when you're going wild, or even... And I feel like you're not even a person who really goes wild. That's not really in your personality. You just vibe. Like, what do you need to go crazy for? You already live your best life. Like, I don't really know what else to tell you. And so that's very seductive to people. I feel like a lot of your seduction actually comes from what people say about you, too. Pile number 5. People have a lot, like, they have a lot of things to say about you, and they're not all good, but it feels like a lot of them, even the negative things are compliments. You know, it's kind of like, oh my God, like, she's so chill. She never gets worked up over anything. And it's like that irritates low vibrational people, but for other people, it's like, wait, you're saying you don't like her because she's relaxed? You're saying you don't like her because she doesn't care about drama? You're saying you don't like him because he doesn't care about getting drunk every night? Like, you're saying you don't like him because they do what's best? Like, they don't worry about, they don't destroy themselves? You're worried you don't like... It feels like people who self-destruct and self-sabotage wouldn't like you because you don't engage in that. You're like, I'm not doing that. Why would I destroy myself? For what? For who? For where? Like, no, you protect your energy. You protect your life, and... people are very attracted to that. Yeah. Interesting. You're very seductive. Yeah, we're not really getting into depth in you. We're actually sticking with the question, which is great. I love that. And what else do I see here? Yeah, I just feel like you really don't listen to the hate. I'm just not worried about the haters. I'm just not. That's what I hear. I'm just not. Like, I don't have time to worry about the haters. I'm not worried about them. And yeah. Let's see. I want to read from the book a little more. Let's see here, because I feel there is something. Yeah, you see, I'm drawn to the end here, which says, Spirit is not within you to create false concept of separation and weaken the power of your effort. Doubt and fear divert from good intentions and can cancel the response to your call. So it feels like you really are in a pod, like you don't deal with negativity. You won't put up with it because you're like, that's gonna mess up my stuff. And once again I hear, if you do not receive results, don't think your prayers have gone unanswered. Many times you simply do not recognize the answer. Your doubts prevent you from witnessing the response. So it does feel like pile number 5, even with Saturn and wisdom here, like, you know the way to get what you want is through perseverance. That's what I feel like. You can't doubt your intentions. You can't doubt what you want to do. You can't doubt yourself. You're not going to get to where you want to go that way. And so there's a strong trust in self and spirit, especially self. I feel strong trust in me. I trust me. I trust me to know what's up. I trust me to free myself of my destructive impulses. And so many people do not trust themselves. It's a very hard thing that your energy can be like, oh, like it can be almost offensive for people who haven't done the work. You know, they're like, oh, well, like, why aren't you doubting, or why aren't you asking me for my opinion? You're like, I don't need your opinion. I already know what I'm going to do. Or even something to eat. Like, I don't need your opinion. I know I want to get tacos. I'm not stressed about it. Like, or, oh, they don't have tacos. Then I know I want to get a sandwich. Like, you're just decisive. You're a chill person. I would want to hang out with you. I see that's why you're so seductive. Anything else? But yeah, I feel like people would want you to be their partner because you bring a sense of stability. You bring a sense of stability based on the way you choose to live life. It's like the way you've chosen to go about things, how structured you are, how you choose to do things makes you a very good partner. Especially for those who I feel like struggle with maybe mental health or like doing things regularly, like someone who has depression, who has trouble getting out of bed. I feel like you're the type of person, even depressed, you're like, well, gotta get out of bed, gotta brush my teeth, gotta do this. Like, you're so disciplined. I feel disciplined heavy here, that you would bring that energy to a partnership to help someone who maybe isn't as structured, or who, you know, won't just get up. They might it kind of feels like your balance here is someone who's a little crazier, not crazy in a bad way, but crazy, like, they're not as disciplined or as earthly or as down to earth as you, because you are so just here doing the right things, that it would maybe benefit you to have someone who's a little more like wild, you know, who's a little less together to balance it out. Now, I'm not saying you have to do that, but it does feel that kind of energy, because you give earth energy strong. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, you know, you have very strong earth energy. Even if it's not in your chart, that is what your energy is. So yeah. Because I feel like you want to make your dreams come true. Like, you have things you want. But the thing about you, Pile 5, that's different from other people is you know you can get it. You know you can get the things you want. You know it just takes time, structure, and discipline. You know. And you know you're willing to do the work. You're like, I'll do the work then. I know it's going to come. I know I'm going to get what I want. And that's the kind of thing that a lot of people don't have. That faith mixed with the perseverance and the discipline to get things done. So that's what I'm seeing for how seductive you are. What's seductive about you, Pile number 5. If you enjoyed this reading, comment down below. Be sure to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.